Well, let's kick it off because Meghan Markle is in the headlines once again for really probably having the worst brand execution to date.
There was nothing about her brand that was good from the start to a distinguishing eye. She was a fraud, what I can see from the beginning, who was just using opportunities to advance herself. Her brand wasn't one built on substance. It was based on using people, and this is no surprise to me.
So let me break it down. Meghan Markle's, basically her confectionery and jam line is called As Ever. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be called America's Riviera Orchard. She did this launch with like limited inventory so that it would look like it was sold out. Or they just said it was sold out if it wasn't successful. People don't know. But they know for sure that there wasn't like an abundance of people looking to buy jam from Meghan Markle. And then it comes out that it actually was. She's had zero ownership in this business. It's effectively like she's just like labeling her brand, and she did this with Netflix. What Netflix is doing now is they actually have a product department. So when they're launching documentaries or movies or shows with certain people, they now have the full marketing arm. So she up until the launch didn't have one employee. She's now made the headline that she's like hired this like COO, but she had no one on her team. It was an entire, like, basically she just got, like, paid. And the whole idea was
That's not because they all hated her and quit. Is that why she hasn't?
No, it was a deal that she signed on for, was to be only selling products.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is this is so poorly done because there's no passion in it. It was literally like sign the dotted line for this add-on at the end of the show that you're going to get. And you're going to basically be guaranteed to sell products to like increase revenue for you. She signed the dotted line, and she's come back because she initially said that there weren't going to be any products launched until Q1 of next year because she needed time to figure it out. And then she came out with this headline of like, get on the email list because we're going to be doing a restock, and the first people that sign up get a restock. So it's just so poorly communicated, executed. She's nowhere to be found. She's nowhere to be seen. And she's just...
Oh my God. Like I would be running to jump to get on a jam wait list. Like, I can't think of anything more enticing than to get on a wait list for freaking jam.
The thing, though, that bothers me is I don't really like ragging on someone, but I feel like she's doing such a brutal or good job, depending on how you look at it, of, like, getting this, like, free PR and then absolutely shitting the bed on it.
Let me be clear. I love ragging on people. We've got to be careful of that term. I mean, shitting on people who suck. Meghan Markle sucks. As far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. What I can see happening is people who consider themselves smart because nobody ever questions them are running this business and telling her to use a playbook that works for products where scarcity matters.
Yeah.
Confectionery scarcity doesn't matter, right? It's a nice to have. It's kind of like having a potpourri in your house of some sort. Like it's not, but you can just see, you know, kind of a confederacy of dunces working on this platform that is just maximizing the value from her fame that came from Suits and being a part of the royal family. And they're just milking that for everything they can. They're not executing anything well on any show, on anything, but it shows how gullible a lot of consumers are.
Well, it also shows you how gullible the ego is, period. Like, it doesn't really make sense for her to be launching shortbread cookie mix, crepe mix, French style, like honey, herbal lemon ginger tea, flower sprinkles, herbal hibiscus, herbal peppermint tea, and raspberry spread. That's it.
She should have a type of tea called podcast failure regret tea, where she just sits around and sips on a herbal tea after the podcast was such a disastrous bomb.
And she also canceled her podcast. Like,
yeah.
I feel
it was
like she can't
not
commit
interesting.
to anything.
No, because she's not substantial.
Anyways,
right?
But the thing that I think is the most interesting is Flamingo Estate is kind of like an if you know, you know. It's kind of like the level up from like an Aesop. Like it's like the Aesop for the rich and famous. They sell more things than soaps, but it's kind of one of those like if you're going to someone's house and you're getting them a housewarming gift, a Flamingo Estate is like it's not too much. It's not an Hermes, but it's more than an Aesop. Like you thought about it. The reason why that's relevant is she went very far in being an investor in that business. So she was going to do a collab line with Flamingo Estate and just like launch a Meghan Markle product. Basically was about to go into like very far in talks with investing in them. And then decided to not.
That would have made some sense to me if
way
she
more
could pull it
sense.
off,
Then she launches American Orchard Riviera, rips off the logo almost identically.
And similar type of name.
And then basically rebrands to As Ever, which both names to me, no meaning, no personality, not connected to anything. It takes a lot of work to do a good brand launch. And a lot of people are delusional, including people at the top, for that they can make a lot of money just because they're famous or just because they have followers. And it's not the case.
Yeah, it's short-term versus long-term. Like there's an ego-centric approach to it that if you achieve some level of celebrity, you think you can build a brand, but that's the start of your brand. And for most people who don't have celebrity but have a great product or a great dream, copying celebrities is not where they're going. But I find too many of the agency workers copy what celebrities are doing rather than understand what is the core of a brand and how do you build it. That's where I think your secret sauce is. But for founders, you really need to understand what the core of an amazing brand is and how important that is to your business.
When you put no money and no effort into something and you have something that like looks nice, it's not enough to drive the needle. And that to me really what this is. Like there's no thought in it. The most expensive thing is a $28 jar of honey. Like what is the scalability? What is the margins? What are you
No, what's the story?
What's the plan?
Why do I care about her honey? Like has she had a life of caring about bees, where she studied bees, where she's like it's just manufactured consumption for people who buy into a narrative. Like it's all over the world. You can make short-term money from it, but it's not a long-term strategy. And somebody told her with an MBA to do this.
I just live this simple life. Get my jam.
Her brand should be, I'm a disruptor. I go into TV, I make noise. I go into the royal family, I make noise. She should brand herself as a rebel, but she's not consistent with what she is.
There's a large demographic that you will not and will never connect with that she does connect with, right? Like, and there's people that want to buy into that brand because they like the idea of what she represents. Like she has sold the narrative that she faced racism in a systemic British system. She fell in love with a guy and was entered into, and there's a lot of women in the United States that see her as an iconic American figure that was like, I'm not going to put up with this. I'm going to go.
That's why I said she should be a disruptor and sell products that are not that expensive and that represent disruption. But that audience is not spending a lot of money.
The thing that's just odd about it is that what she picked is like very kind of like Republican kind of polished pieces.
It's a deliberate dissonance. Like that's why you can sense it. It's why I'm agitated by her so much, because it's a deliberate misrepresentation of what she is, because she thinks she can pretend to be that while actually being this and sucker people into buying her stuff. And every step of the way, she's failing because it's not legitimate. It's not intelligent. It's not well executed.
Well, the question is like, should her brand have been more American? Versus, because it's like kind of more like British, like
it's ridiculous. You know, the simple lesson from a branding perspective is have the right counsel on branding decisions. There's a lot of bad people out there. The deeper lesson from the rogue lawyer in me is ask more questions before you decide to support a brand or a product. Right? There's so many ways to misrepresent what people are doing, misrepresent scarcity. One thing I learned a long time ago is go 5 questions deep. Ask people what they do. They tell you one thing, you just accept it. Ask another question, and then go to the 3rd and 4th, and you'll get the truth. But only if you go to the 3rd to the 5th, because there's a lot of bullshitters out there that can only survive 2 questions. So go 5 questions deep.
I think my takeaway from this is there are truly people that should be used as case studies to improve upon. And I think that there are, especially in the way that this world is moving, there's people where you can't criticize because they're being criticized on a mass scale. And there's actually things to learn from the case studies that aren't doing a good job.
And if you want to learn more about Meghan Markle, throw out to my buddies at the Behavior Panel. They study human behavior. Look up the Behavior Panel on YouTube, put in Meghan Markle, and watch them dissect her and Harry's human behavior patterns. Doing an interview, it's fascinating stuff to get an insight into what those two are all about.
And we also have other insight, too, on a personal level of her not being a good person. So that's not relevant, but here we are.
Check out the Behavior Panel.
Goodbye, everybody.